yesterday, because we were carried away with what played out for the Super Eagles, so then I didn't have the time to say thank you for your service, all the men and women of our armed forces. We appreciate you. Thank you for what you do for our country. Kadi.
Absolutely. I mean, we spent the whole day celebrating the armed forces, and it's not too much if you spend every waking moment to say prayer, spare thought, thank them physically, because they stay up at night while you're sleeping to do their own bit to protect Nigeria's territorial integrity. Yes, there's a lot of work to be done. We appreciate that. We must also appreciate the work being done already. Good morning and welcome. I'm Kayode Okikiolu. It is Friday, January the 16th, 2026. Yet another reminder that the year is rolling by as fast as it can. And politics is in full swing. Never mind that we're not in 2027 just yet, which is the year of our general election. We can tell you this, that the son of former vice president and a presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, popularly known as Abba, has joined the All Progressives Congress, APC, from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. He was received by the Deputy President of the Senate yesterday at the National Assembly. Senator Barao Jibrin put up a post where he welcomed Abba. That's what a lot of people know him as, the son of a former vice president and the PDP presidential candidate, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, who is now in the ADC after he resigned from the PDP and joined the ADC, the coalition of the ADC. But let me stretch this a bit further. Another of his son, Adamu Atiku Abubakar, is a commissioner for works and energy development in Adamawa State under PDP government. So just to give you context about the political leanings in the family. But what is also interesting is Mr. Atiku Abubakar's post about his son's defection to the APC. So Mr. Atiku Abubakar put up a post on X where he said that the decision of his son, Abba Abubakar, to join the APC is entirely personal. In a democracy, he says, such choices are neither unusual nor alarming, even when family and politics intersect. But he went on to say that as a Democrat, he does not or will not coerce his own children in matters of conscience and certainly will not coerce Nigerians. He says what truly concerns him is the poor governance of the APC, of which his son is now a member, and the severe economic and social hardships it has imposed on our people. He says it remains resolute in working with like-minded patriots to restore good governance and offer Nigerians a credible alternative that brings relief, hope, and progress. So guys, I'm just imagining what family dinner will be like when the father, a member of the ADC, sits at the head of a table, one of his sons, APC, another PDP. I just wonder what the conversation would be like. But something is clear. This is a lesson for a lot of people. One, the game is the game. So do not hate the player. Do not hate the game. Participate in that game because it is a game that will decide your life, right? So the game is the game. That is the game. Whether you like it or not, the game is the game. Secondly, the lesson is out there for everyone to pick. Hey, there are no permanent enemies in politics, so only permanent interests, guys.
Well, on the surface, if you took it for what it is, then it would seem a gain for the All Progressives Congress and a loss to the ADC now. So, you know, it takes some getting used to, right? To the ADC, of course, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has defected to the African Democratic Congress. And, you know, you would also wonder if it has to do with an absence of personal leadership, you know, on the part of the former vice president. Because, you know, if you're unable to be the leader that is able to persuade your household and have all of them be converts to your political ideology, then perhaps there is, you know, a challenge there. Then how are you able to persuade and have converts all over the country to your political philosophy and your aspiration to transforming Nigeria? And so, you know, from the surface, you would think that a dismissal of his son's choice as a personal one is just some stoicism, taking it in his strides and saying that, you know, it doesn't affect anything. But, you know, we must look more deeply than that. But beyond the surface of it, you know, as far as politicking is concerned, we must take everything with a pinch rather than a pack of salt. And the All Progressives Congress may need to be weary such that this is not some ultimate game plan. You know, we have a staunch PDP member in the APC government, and we know the consequences of that. We've seen the consequences of that over the last 1 year. Well, this is not to reach any conclusion, but just to say that in politics, 24 hours can make a lot of difference. Jeffrey.
There's nothing personal. There's nothing unique about his son joining another political party. In recent history, ADC welcomed El-Rufai. El-Rufai's son is a serving member of the APC in the House of Representatives. I think he even chairs a committee. So there's nothing too different about it. So it depends on which side of the coin you're looking at. It could be, oh, they are not able to pull their children into their party. I don't know whether that's an ideological problem or a leadership problem. On the other hand, you could also argue that there's nothing that can be more democratic than that. Son, APC, father, ADC. It could also be what I call political espionage. It happens. We saw it in 2023 when some persons were at the forefront of speaking against a political party, and then after the political party won the election, they went back to the other party. So this thing is not as straightforward as you may look at it. But the more the merrier as far as the political space is concerned. For me, as a person, I'm more interested in the stability of all political parties. We want the APC to be stable. We want the ADC to be stable. We want Labour to be stable. We want the PDP to be stable. We want the YPP to be stable, NMPP to be stable. And the list goes on. Because with that, it gives everyone an opportunity to decide where and who they will support. That's the beauty of democracy. I wrote a piece about 6, 7 years ago, and one of the things I took out of that write-up was the fact that democracy gives you the luxury of choice. Any democracy that doesn't give you the luxury of choice is antithetical to democracy itself. That's why it is poor understanding of democracy. In fact, a threat to democracy for some of the things I see some politicians practice in Nigeria, where they want to collapse 2 political parties into one, literally, and drive it as the only choice within this space. You don't understand democracy. You're not a Democrat, or you're just being mischievous around democracy. So, for me, congratulations to Atiku's son. Congratulations to El-Rufai's son. Congratulations to Atiku, El-Rufai, and every other person. So there are 3 sides to it. It could be, oh, he's not able to convince. The other part could be, this is democracy at its finest. Son different, father different. Or it could be, can you help me get inside and be the mole? It could be anything.
Trojan horse, kind of.
Yeah, that's that kind of thing. It could be anything.
Because if you looked even a lot closely at it, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is of the political elite, is a very, by all standards, a very comfortable industrialist, and that extends to every one of his offsprings. And so we cannot say that Abba is seeking some form of political fortune with the All Progressives Congress that he does not already have as someone born with a silver spoon. So
he clearly is. There's no way you would join a political party without interests. Some would say it's altruistic. Even that in itself is some sort of interest, but I bet you, Bukola. I mean, he changed the name of his organization,
from Husky,
Atiku to Husky Bola Tinubu. And he says he sees all of the work that President Bola Tinubu is doing, and he really vibes with it. So it's clear that there's something in it for it. I have a hot take, and I'm going to drop it this morning. I believe personally that there are just 2 political parties in Nigeria, because what we should do easily is bunch up all the people that have moved from APC, PDP, and all of that, bunch them together. They actually belong to one party. They're just working from, you know, annexes here and there.
Liaisons.
Bunch them together. That is one political party. And the others who have remained loyal to some of these so-called smaller parties, we bunch them together. When you do that, you realize that we just have 2 political parties, the major one and then the smaller ones, in quote, put together. all of these different tags.
Well,
Honestly,
Kadi,
I don't really
if you spoke with some Nigerians, they also have a huge, maybe not huge, but average measure of distrust for even some of the actors in those smaller political parties. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the trajectory of some of them, and that will take a study, you would see that one thing or the other has led them to those parties. Perhaps it's failed interests that they would rather pursue.
And so for those
with
who
other
have moved
parties.
from the major parties to those other ones, they still belong to the first bunch.
And so the ideology of Nigeria's political engineering is personal interest, no philosophy.
There are two things that drive politicians in Nigeria. I may dare to say the greater majority. I may be wrong, but I may dare to say our interactions with them, studying and understanding them. Subservience to power is a major problem. Subservience to power is a major problem. That's why, as I sit here, I would like to be corrected. I do not believe Nigeria has built any political party yet after 27 years. And I gave my reasons a few days ago. We do not have a political party in Nigeria yet. APC, PDP, SDP, NNPP, they are not political parties yet. What happens is that most of these parties are SPVs. Because if a party that ruled Nigeria for 16 years cannot survive after just 3 elections, and that has been brought down to just 4 governors, that was not a political party. The APC has not been tested. I repeat myself, the APC, you are tested when you don't have access to power, and you're out of power for a long time. That is when we will know whether you built a party. For now, as I sit here, we'll just be managing this political platform. So for me, it's about subservience to power and self-preservation. I hate to hear, but I respect what they say. I'm doing this for my people. Sir, you're not doing it for your people. You're doing it for yourself.
Sir and Ma, Jeffrey.
Sir and Ma, please.
We've had a few months.
I want to connect to the center. Sir, you want to connect to the center, not for the interest of the people. There may be other benefits that we may not know about or we may know about. But what we stick to is what is in public, because you're serving the public. So as far as I am concerned, I am praying that we will build political parties. The day the APC will lose election and lose another election, then we'll now know whether this APC is a formidable party. But for now, if you've been in power and you've not lost power, you're not yet a political party. That's what it is. But it doesn't, surprisingly, not surprising, it happens, defections happens everywhere. But the way it happens in Nigeria is very heartbreaking and distasteful. Do you understand? But because Robert Jenrick, the shadow cabinet in charge of judiciary, who contested against Kemi Badenoch, has just defected from the Tory party, Conservative Party.
Whatever you want to call it.
Well, because he was sacked because they say he was hobnobbing with Farage, Reform UK, which is building a lot of strength these days. So defection is not alien to politics, but the Nigeria's level of defection is very
out of this world.
It's just uncomfortable to deal with. So I agree with Carl.
The ninth wonder of the world.
Welcome to Nigeria.
So let us just be cohabiting and do what they are. We'll continue to, as I said, we'll manage what we have. That's what we have right now. We cannot. They are the politicians. They are play, but subservience to power and self-preservation is the biggest driver of most of our political class. Because I know persons in politics who are even in government who can live their lives comfortably without government. In fact, serving in government is even stressing them, but because they love their nation. But there are very few. The others, I'm sorry.